So we're steaming in with cricket to begin this edition of the SportsMax Zone, the third edition of India's premier women's T20 competition, the WPL. Got off to a riveting start on your home of champions SportsMax earlier on Friday. Defending champions Royal Challengers Bengaluru earned an impressive 6-wicket win over the Gujarat Giants in a high-scoring affair at the Vadodara International Stadium. Newly appointed Giants captain, Australian Ash Gardner, smashed 8 sixes and 3 fours to top score with an undefeated 79, lifting the hosts to 201 for 5 from their 20 overs. Gardner had support from fellow Aussie Beth Mooney, who made 56 from 42 balls, with West Indian Deandra Dottin contributing 25 from 13 deliveries. RCB lost openers skipper Smriti Mandhana 9 and England's Danny Wyatt-Hodge 4 early in their chase at 14 for 2 in the second over. But another Australian, the great Elise Perry, brought the champions back into the contest, carving out a knock of 57 from 34 balls and sharing in an 86-run, 55-ball third-wicket stand with Ragbi Bisht, who contributed 25. It was then left to the maturing talent of wicketkeeper batter Risha Ghosh to power the Bengalurians home, and so she did, effortlessly manipulating the field to the tune of 7 boundaries and 4 maximums on her way to 6-4 not out to see the RCB team home with 9 deliveries to spare, 202 for 4. RCB skipper Smriti Mandhana says her team's middle order prowess and the dew factor meant they were never out of the contest.
Been doing that in the nets in the last 7-8 days to all our bowlers, so really happy that things clicked on. But yeah, I think after first innings we knew with the dew coming in it's gonna be tough to bowl. So we always thought that we are in the game.
Yes, Smriti Mandhana there and the success that her team had. I must say that I didn't think that would be a successful run chase for them, although in the middle of the innings I realized that the chase was really and truly on.
Well, first of all, it is a record run chase, the highest successful chase in the 3 years of the WPL. So that speaks significantly to what they achieved today. And the most runs scored in a WPL game, 403 runs for the contest, the highest aggregate. But I thought it was a really entertaining match, and I really enjoyed what was on offer. And when you consider as well that you had, close to 26s in the contest. The women were really striking the ball magnificently, and it really was great to see Lance and Mariah. But I think that the Gujarat Giants have only themselves to blame. Significantly, Ghosh was put down first ball, and an opportunity that really should have been taken out on the boundary, and had they taken that match could have gone so differently. So I think the Giants will look back and they'll say to themselves, we let this opportunity slip to beat the defending champions in the opening game of the tournament.
Yeah. There was a suggestion though, and even Mandhana said it at the end, that the dew factor made out cricket more difficult for the fielding team while the RCB Bengaluru team was chasing. So, you know, I mean, the ball can get slippery. I'm not sure why those catches were dropped, because it wasn't the only catch that you referenced, but the bowling in parts was a bit untidy as well. So that was part of the reason why Bengaluru felt as if they could get the runs, because the dew factor would have given the batting team chasing an advantage with the out cricket and the grip on the ball and so on, making things difficult for the bowling team.
Yeah, just quickly. So I think, and maybe I could be wrong here, but when it comes on to the dew factor, it probably would more affect the ground fielding. I feel like with catching, especially when the ball is coming from a high trajectory, those should be more comfortable. And those were the opportunities I felt like were put down. And I think that was more, I don't want to say a lack of quality, but just errors rather than the dew taking a toll in those situations. That's my opinion on that one.
Yeah, and just to bring it home and focus on one of our West Indian players, I felt very disappointed in what I saw from Deandra Dottin today, because she came on, she got that 25 runs off 13 balls, but I felt like the manner in which she got dismissed, that catch from Danny Wyatt, you know, I would have felt like Deandra Dottin would have want to occupy the crease for a bit longer, knowing, one, that she was sold for a lot of money, the most expensive overseas player, and just knowing when she spends time at the crease, what she's capable of. So that is one of the things that personally disappointed me in today's match for the Gujarat Giants, because I tend to go and single out the teams where we have our West Indies players taking part and support them. So that was a bit untidy for me.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, though, is that her strike rate is, as it usually is, very good.
Yes.
And at the point at which she got out and the point at the middle of the game, there was every reason to feel that the Gujarat Giants had done enough to win the game. So I wouldn't... I know Dottin would have preferred to have been there longer, but I believe their batting was good enough to win the game.
No, but against a RCB team with a strong captain like Smriti Mandhana, they are the defending champions. And when you look at the women player for player, it's like it's a team you can't underestimate. And I mean, today's result is a perfect example.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a team you cannot underestimate. But I think I'm with Lance on this one, just because... at the time when Deandra Dottin got out, her job was to keep the scoring going.
Which she did, yeah.
Which she did brilliantly. And there's always the possibility that in situations like that, when you are going hard, that you could get out. So from that standpoint, I just think that had Gujarat Giants fielded well, had they caught well, they would have won this match comfortably. I don't think they were short on runs. 201, we're talking about a record chase here. You expect to win matches 9 times out of 10, especially in the women's game when you're scoring over 200. Yes, yeah. Today was the one time that they didn't win a match having scored 200, and I think they'll just be extremely disappointed with aspects of their bowling, but I think especially the fielding performance. Gosh won them the game, and you put her down first ball. That's a difference maker right there.
Yeah, and you know what? I must admit that I didn't watch the entire game, because when the run chase was on, I went on the road and had some things to do. And I left there comfortably feeling that the Gujarat Giants
were... Were you getting Valentine's gifts?
No, I wasn't, actually.
Okay. I'm just checking.
It would be too late for that anyway. And I'm not a last-minute person when it comes to things like those.
Okay.
Anyway,
thanks.
I was just making the point that it was unbelievable when I got home and I realized that the RCB team actually won the game, because I never thought in my wildest imaginations that the Gujarat Giants wouldn't defend the total they had.
Like Mandhana, though, I never ever felt that they were out of the chase.
For sure.
One, because I know the quality that they have, but it's why you have to take your chances in a match like that, because they are match winners. And we saw Gosh, by the way. She played against the West Indies when we toured India last year, and we saw the power and quality that she has, and she proved it again today. One of the things that is developing more and more in the women's game that I'm excited to see, and I think we're going to see even more of it in the IPL, because what you have are the best women's cricketers in the world, is their ability to clear the boundary. Yeah. And we saw that today, that these women were striking the ball magnificently. And outside of being adept at manipulating the field and so on, which the best female batters have always been able to do, what they've not been able to do consistently is to hit the ball over the top and clear the boundary like this at will. And we saw that today. And I'm not talking just clearing the boundary. They were hitting 10, 15 meters beyond. So it's magnificent. You remember the days when for women's cricket they would have to bring the boundary ropes in?
Yeah.
That's unnecessary these days with the way these women are striking the ball. It is magnificent to watch. And I must admit, if this is the level that the Women's Premier League is going to be at for the remainder of the season, then I am glued and locked into every single match, because it was a magnificent watch, and I am so happy that it was on the home of champions, SportsMax.
One of the things I love about the WPL is you get to see the best of the women, and I'm happy Ricardo made that point about there was a point in time where they would bring in the ropes for the ladies, but when you look at the fitness of the women that play in the WPL, it's top-class fitness, you know. I'm shocked with this sloppy feeling and the sloppy catching, because usually you tend to have the best of the best ladies doing what they're really good at. So for me, today was a curtain raiser, a curtain opener of what we're in store for. I can't wait to see when the Mumbai Indians, those women line up, because that team as well, Lance and Ricardo, a star-studded cast. We have our very own Hayley Matthews, Shabnim Ishmael, the South African that I have a lot of time for. So I think today was just a preview into what we're getting ready to see.
Yeah, and just to make my point, I had said earlier that close to 26s were hit. It's bang on 20 that were hit today in the match. 10 by Bengaluru and 10 by the Gujarat Giants. So there you go. Pretty much everybody was clearing the ropes. I wonder if it had something to do with the air, like allow the ball to fly a little bit more, because gosh, it was flying. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, Chapo. And you know, the Indians being at home, flourishing in their conditions as well. And the Australians, who have some of the best players in the world, showing their quality again. Ash Gardner, and we have to remember that Gardner actually replaced Beth Mooney as the captain of this Gujarat team, because Mooney had been the captain before, and Ash Gardner takes over from her. And Elise Perry, you know, people forget that she played FIFA World Cup football for Australia as well, Perry. So she's just a gifted, multi-skilled athlete.
Yeah, and I'm going to be slightly controversial here, and what I'm about to say is not to mean disrespect for the player or any player. But I was watching, and even though there were some errors in the field today, I was watching the general outfield cricket, and I thought to myself, this is excellent stuff. The women are really moving around, they're diving around, they're making spectacular saves, and it looks really good. Now, there's a West Indian female cricketer that many thought would have gotten an opportunity to play in the WPL. And I thought to myself, this is part of the reason why that young player, despite all her batting talent and ball hitting ability, will struggle to get into this league, because the physicality that is required in the field is just not there at the moment. And that is an area that she has to improve and work on, because there's no doubt that the potential is there to get to this level, but the work has to be put in. So the fitness, the physicality is there to be able to assist at that level, because you're talking about the best players, the best movers in the game, and yeah, you just cannot be significantly short in that area. I'm not calling any names, but I think everybody knows who I'm talking about.
I actually don't.
Oh, you don't?
Break time.
Yeah, I can tell you that the 2025 season of the Women's Premier League will be continuing on Saturday with the West Indies captain Hayley Matthews and her Mumbai Indians taking on last season's beaten finalists, the Delhi Capitals, live on SportsMax from 10 o'clock Eastern Caribbean time, 9 in Jamaica.